Welcome to day 44 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of January 1998, which unfortunately was Spice World.
This is the one that broke me. It wasn't Dumb
Ugh.
and Dumber. It wasn't fucking Tin Cup. It wasn't any of that shit. This was the one that broke me. I am destroyed. I legitimately feel like I have never seen anything this bad before. And it's bad for like so many different reasons. And I think the main reason I legitimately think this is the worst thing we've seen is that there isn't even a point. At least Dumb and Dumber, you could see the point of the people who made the film, right? You understand why they made it, you understand what they were going for, even if what they were going for was a piece of shit. This, it was literally just, it was pandering, but it was not even like good pandering, as if pandering can ever be good. Because it was so skewed in what it was trying to say and how the characters were acting, and that it was like unbelievably hypocritical, but at the same time extremely generic and unbelievably just bad on every level. It was, again, it was both unbelievably dull and unbelievably atrocious at the same time. And that's why I think that I would have to say this is the worst thing I've seen so far.
I think Alua, you're basically right with this. I can't really think of any high point.
I'm not even sure what to even add. We could
The only
possibly
thing that I can
cover.
really add to this is that you could not figure out the plot for the life
This
of you.
should not be a movie that is hard to follow. But it somehow was. For like the first like half of it or a third of it was like, what the fuck is actually happening? And then once you
That
figure out what's happening, it's like so generic. It's like once you got like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna get mad at something. They're gonna act like they're breaking up. Then they're gonna rediscover something great and reform. And oh, there's gonna be a great climax. Everyone's happy again. Everything resolved. You knew that that was gonna happen,
but the thing is
but
though
it
is
was
that
still confusing somehow.
yes, not only that, but even when it was generic and stuff, it would have been like, okay, we know what's gonna happen and whatever and stuff. Miss Bean was kind of like that. But the thing was, is that during, especially the last part, with the whole bus and everything, they were going the generic route, but then they didn't have to throw in a bunch of random things into it, too. That just
I,
made
No,
completely no
what
sense.
was the whole thing with the guys with like the movie pitches that like sometimes happened, and it was like, what the fuck was happening? It
at
was
some
like they were
Yeah.
point,
trying to be meta or something, but like I
yeah,
don't get it.
I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be the cop out where it wasn't actually real, but then, like, in the end, they came and they performed, and I don't even have any words.
And like, even if I was a fan, which I'm clearly not, I feel like this would still anger me because it portrays these people in such a terrible way.
Yeah.
It's that bullshit, like, and this happened in a good amount of movies in like the late '90s, where in early 2000s, where it was like this fake feminism, where it was like, oh, we're for girl power and all this stuff, yet they're like, obsessed with like, you know, fame, and oh my god, is my makeup right? Oh, I can't run in heels and all this shit. And it's like, are you fucking listening to what you're saying? Like, you can't just say I'm for blah and then do the complete opposite. It doesn't fucking work. And it's like, And they even go back to it later. They're like, oh, I remember one of them says something like, oh, guys only care for us about our looks, when like 20 minutes ago they were only talking about, oh my god, what dress should I wear and this shit. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's just, oh my god. I said this like halfway through the movie. I said the only good thing about this movie is the blonde girl's legs. It's the only good thing about this movie. And if I wanted to see nice-looking legs on a nice-looking person, I would watch something else. Because you can see that in many other things. The fact that the characters look attractive is not a reason to watch something.
Actually, with that segue, what was the whole thing with the photo shoot in the middle of the movie? Where they were just trying out different outfits.
I assume they were trying to, like, imitate, like, the other members of the group or something. I'm not 100% sure.
The reason was because they needed to pad out the running time. That's the real reason. And then just the fucking, like, ego of this movie about how, like, the fucking alien shit came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
And that, like, I'm like, are you seriously implying that you're so famous that fucking aliens care about you?
Oh man, I, like, kind of blocked that out of
Like,
my memory
that's just
already.
Oh, actually,
gross.
with that in mind, they kind of threw a bunch of things. They threw a supernatural thing, they threw a horror element into it. At the end, they threw an action thing into it.
This movie has no. This recording of things happening has no soul at all.
It doesn't have a reason to exist. Again, like, even the shitty films there was, like, that we've seen, there was at least, like, a point. There was some sort of story to get across. What was the fucking story of this?
I have no idea.
Like, they were gonna perform at a concert, but then they, like, didn't want to because
They got mad at
they got mad at the guy because
they wanted to go see the baby and stuff.
Why is this a fucking important story to tell? There's nothing in this that matters.
No, but the thing is, you couldn't even see the story in it either.
Yeah, exactly.
And you couldn't feel any sympathy for any of the characters.
Oh, absolutely not. There was literally nobody. Like, again, going back to Dumb and Dumber, at least, like, the woman was at least sympathetic, right? You could, because, again, in her situation, there is nobody, literally nobody in this movie that is sympathetic. Like, I can maybe think of one, and it's, like, the bus driver guy. But he has, like, 5 lines in the whole fucking movie. So, it's...
Because the thing is, too, is that you can label everyone as stereotypes, too, even for all the girls and stuff, which is... Because the blonde one is the ditzy, innocent one. The girl with the brown hair with no bangs... I don't even remember what
It's so hard to tell them apart.
Yeah. There's the blonde one. Because the thing is, there's the blonde one, there's the redhead one, there's the black one, and then there's the 2 other ones, and, like, who look very similar to each other. And I'm like, wait, like, I always got those other 2. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Anyway, whatever. And the problem is not so much that they're stereotypes. The problem is that they're stereotypes while basically saying we're not stereotypes.
Yeah.
And it's just... it doesn't work. It just...
stereotypes trying not to be stereotypes and pushing for a fake feminist message.
No, they're not trying to not be stereotypes. They're just saying they're not.
Yeah.
It's not even trying.
My brain isn't even working anymore.
It's not... no. This was so bad.
I have a headache.
I legitimately... okay. We didn't think this was going to be a good movie.
No.
Oh, I mean, really. We didn't think it would... had no idea it would be this bad.
Like, I was telling Tara before when you were gone, like, we were completely silent for the last, like, right before the 20 minutes, but for pretty much the second half of the movie. At least with, like, Dumb and Dumber, we had a constant commentary.
No. The thing is that in
Angry.
'97 we were very quiet and everything and stuff, but it was mainly because we either were really bored and stuff. With this movie, it was because we were quiet because we couldn't understand what the heck was going on in this film.
I guess that's true too.
Or when
Because
Go ahead.
we have been quiet for films before. It's
Yeah.
just that this is a different thing where we were quiet because we were trying to figure out what the heck was going on, but we could not figure out what the heck was going on for the life of us.
I was dumbfounded by just what was happening in how everything did not work. I'm like, what do I say about this? Just everything is wrong. It's just, ugh. I knew going into this. This was like one of, like, I don't know, 5 or so movies that that I was like really not looking forward to seeing. Right, and there's a few of those that there's a couple of those we still have to watch. But this was worse than I thought it was going to be, and that's really. I was not. That's really sad. And then, also the fact that I recognized one of the actors in this just made it even more sad. Because I saw that Jason Fleming is in this, and he's a guy in Primeval, and he's in that episode of Black Mirror. And I like him, he's a good guy, and he's cool, and he acts well, and his characters, I usually like his characters that he plays. I mean, I guess he's relatively harmless in this movie, just because he barely does anything, but it's just, I saw him, and I'm like, oh no. I had to check, and yes, that's who it was. It was one of the earlier things he did. The first stuff he did was like a few years earlier, but yeah, so it's, gotta start somewhere. Yeah. I literally, as this was over, as we finished watching this, I just silently posted a link to the video of that Space Dandy episode where he meets the depressed version of himself and who just says, I want to die. Because that's how I feel. I don't want to die just because dying sucks, but I want to just do nothing for a while.
Let's try to block this one from our memory.
When are they gonna get good again? When is that gonna happen? I need to know.
We can't reveal that.
There's at least one good movie in this year.
Yeah, that's true. The second half of this year looks to probably, hopefully, be better.
Yeah,
With
I
the
mean,
middle and like the middle and last third look to be better. The first third, I mean, well, there was this movie, and then the next couple I just don't know anything about, so we'll see. But yeah, that's.
I have literally no words to say. I've just been yawning.
Yeah. I mean, okay,
yeah.
Look, 96 was bad. 97 was bad. This was worse. I'm like, 98 has to be better than those last 2 years, right? It has to be.
It can't get worse.
It can't get worse, can it? Can it?
Not yet.
I will say, there is a movie this year that has the exact same score on Metacritic that this movie did.
Sora's having a nightmare right now.
Yeah, because she knows what happened. She knows what transpired here.
Sora doesn't deserve that.
No. Well, speaking of Sora,
She gets a treat.
yeah,
She does get a treat.
we never had a Sora treatment in all of 97.
Surprisingly.
Oh yeah.
Somehow just missed it for a couple movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I've entered a new era as a person. I'm like,
You mean
there was
because of-
before this movie was a life, and now I've moved on to a second life
You've
where
become
everything is different.
You've become Dandy. You're now depressed Dandy.
Yeah. Or, well, it's just whatever. We need to stop because we're just not saying shit anymore. Shit.
Next time, something else.
I don't
even know what.
I don't
but
know.
something else.
This has to be better, right? Right?
Don't say that.
Goodbye.
End
Goodbye.
me. End me.